Welcome to Lavender Town VGC. I'm your host with the Ghost Rye, and let's do ourselves a good old-fashioned team builder episode. The next team I want to use is a little weird, and I kind of wanted to like explain it, so it kind of made more sense. Sometimes I can just kind of throw a team at you guys, and it's kind of, you know, makes sense just by looking at it. Some of them I kind of want to go in a little bit more detail, and this one was inspired by a lot of things, so I thought it'd be fun to break it down. So let's go right into it. Number one, we are using Mega Gengar again. Mega Gengar is my favorite Pokemon, so I really want to keep using them. I know there's like a lot of ghosts to get through, and obviously there's like some more like niche ghost Pokemon I'm definitely gonna be using in the future, but I've been like can't get this weird team idea out of my head, so I wanted to go back to Mega Gengar. He's really fun to use. I'm really comfortable with him because I've been using him for years. So let's take a look at a really popular team on Global Link right now, and what I did to kind of like mess around with a little bit. So you have probably seen this team online. This is like a very popular Japanese QR code team. I don't know if this is the exact one because it says Battles 114, and I'm sure this team has won a ton of stuff. There's a Twitter account that posts all the like top cuts from different regionals and mid-season showdowns and stuff like that across the country and like the world. Really, they show stuff in Japan too, and you always see this team coming out on top. It is insanely good. The synergy between Gengar and Kommo-o is fantastic, and when you add Bulu and Incineroar and Azumarill, like when you add all these things together, this is an incredibly dangerous team to go against. But I thought it wasn't dumb enough, and I wanted to mess with it a little bit. Another reason like this kind of team core is really popular, like Kommo-o finally won a regional. Like he won Salt Lake. Like Matthew Greaves, Pickle Sword as he's known online, he won with this exact combo right here. So what he did is definitely a little bit different. He had really crazy sets on this team. Number one, he had a modest Gengar, which is pretty cool. So it was like doing a lot of damage. He ran Icy Wind on his for like speed control. He had the Kommo-o set heard round the VGC world. Drain Punch, Clanging Scales, Belly Drum, which is nuts because you're already getting the Kommo-o like Commonium Z boost, so you're already getting all your +1s. His reasoning for running Belly Drum was that he kept getting intimidated, and he wanted ways to keep that attack stat as high as possible for Drain Punch, which is really good for recovery. So I mean, this team is insane. Like this is just nuts. So I think what he's running Tyranitar, which I'm actually not gonna be running on my version of this team, but I really liked this right here. So this like totally stuck out to me. So because he didn't have Incineroar, my guessing is that's why he went with Volcarona for his redirection, because I gave him like really strong fire stab if he had to do it. So his Volcarona ran Overheat, which is really good. Overheat, Whirlwind, which is a really good tech, especially for like best of 3. Rage Powder and Protect. What else did he have? So he ran a really interesting Bulu. This is not the Bulu I plan on using. He ran Life Orb with Dazzling Gleam, which is good for KOing other Kommo-os. I think the way he must have had his EV investment, his Dazzling Gleam would always OHKO Kommo-o, even after the boost, I think. So that's definitely really cool, especially like playing against the mirror. And then I love Hitmontop. Hitmontop is probably like one of my like top 10 favorite Pokemon. I've used it on so many teams. It's fantastic. One thing I really like that he did, I usually run Faint, but Stone Guard is like a really cool tech on Hitmontop. It lets you just like OHKO Charizards, like if they're not really ready for it or expecting it. He also runs Citrus Berry, and I have like a little bit of a different version I want to do. So the main reason that I've been like looking at this core, like this kind of group where you have Bulu, Gengar, and Kommo-o, and then a redirection user, a big setup Pokemon, and then Intimidate plus Fake Out, is in the comment section on one of my videos from a couple weeks ago. We got talking about simple Kommo-o, which is like a really cool idea that I haven't seen used very much. I think like Verlis had like a Fan Fridays with it where they use like a Genesect with Kommo-o, but it's still like a cool idea. It's definitely best of 1, which is the kind of like battles I'm doing on Battlespot for this channel. So I was looking at, okay, what Pokemon gets Simple Beam and which Pokemon are fast enough to get it onto Kommo-o before he does the Z move. And I really love Linoone, however you want to pronounce it. Linoone's awesome. And everyone's always expecting the Belly Drum set, so they're not ready, I think, for a Simple Beam. Also, let me just go into, I'll go into the team. We'll go into the team, it'll probably make a lot more sense. it probably won't because this team idea is kind of dumb, but it's really, really, really fun to use. So here's my Linoone, who I'm a big, huge fan of. So Linoone definitely got like a big buff in general to, like, he got a buff with the berries. So because he has Gluttony and you can give him a Pinch Berry now, you can Belly Drum and get to, like, what is it, +6 attack in like one turn, and then you're still at full health. His stats aren't amazing, as you can clearly see here. So you kind of like have to like accept that he's like a glass cannon and he's probably gonna die very, very fast, but he's so fun to use. So I took the basic like Linoone set that I think I've seen people use online, like on like kind of like meme gimmicky teams. I know Tommy Colleen used to use Linoone on his Twitch channel, which was really, really fun to watch. He had a very different team composition, even though I think he did have a Volcarona as well. But the main idea being is setting up Linoone if I feel like it's a good matchup for him and he can like get off a bunch of extreme speeds and like kind of tear through a team real quick. But if that doesn't work, then I have this other option where I can lead with Kommo-o and Linoone and use Simple Beam. So if you don't know what Simple Beam is a very, very cool move. It gives the Pokemon that you hit with it the ability Simple, and the ability Simple, it makes all stat modifiers ×2 instead of ×1. Actually, I think it just doubles, so whatever that stat modifier might be. So in the case of Kommo-o, when you give him Simple and then he does his Z move, instead of getting +1 to all his stats, he gets +2, which is pretty crazy because Kommo-o with the Z move is already like a monster. The thing is phenomenal right now. I think its usage right now online is like 90%. Like it's really high right now, especially on BattleSpot. The one issue I have with running Simple Beam is it doesn't let me run Stomping Tantrum, and I would like to have a ground attack on this team, especially for Metagross, which kind of does a little bit of work on me, but I'm willing to sacrifice it for being able to get a Simple Beam off on Kommo-o, which I think might like really, really be cool if I can pull it off. I'm not sure if I can, but we'll see what we can do. And then, so I got my Linoone. Okay, so I wanted to go to my Kommo-o. Kommo-o, this is the spread I've been using. I just, in general, like this spread. It gives you like a little bit of bulk with the 44 points in HP. I think with Kommo-o, you really got to invest in special attack because base speed 100 is good, but it's not amazing. Even at +1, like Clanging Scales doesn't do a ton. And here's the other issue with Simple Beam before we like talk about how awesome and cool it is. It also works when things go negative. So if you're running, oh, I'm getting a phone call. This is not very professional at all. Get back to that. So if you're running Simple Beam onto Kommo-o and like you get intimidated, your attack goes down -2 instead of -1. So you have to like keep that in mind. So because of that, I'm not running Drain Punch, even though I was like playing with it and it was really nice having the coverage of Drain Punch. So I'm running Substitute. I think Substitute Kommo-o is good. It gives you an opportunity to like save yourself from like a Tapu Bulu for a turn if you can't avoid it. Especially in conjunction with like Mega Gengar. But I like Substitute. I think it's probably gonna work pretty good on this team. I know 44 HP and like no defense or special defense investment isn't great, but hopefully I can get to +2 in those stats, so maybe we'll be all right. Might be able to be okay with it. Next is Mega Gengar, the ghost of the squad. I'm running Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Disable, and Protect. This is like a pretty offensive Gengar spread. 180 special attack, 252 timid, 4 special defense, and 74 in HP. This gives me like a little bit of bulk. It's not amazing. He'll take a couple hits you wouldn't think he might. But again, Mega Gengar's HP stat is pretty low. And the last time I ran Mega Gengar, I was running the like Perish Song variant. So I had like max HP, no special attack. So it's actually kind of fun using a Mega Gengar that can like really hit hard, which is great. Shadow Ball, like at neutral, does a ton of damage to most stuff. Sludge Bomb obviously takes care of all the fairies we're going to be running into. I'm running Disable over Icy Wind because I have speed control somewhere else. And I think Disable on Gengar is nasty because he's so fast. So like you're going to be in a lot of situations where you can disable stuff, especially like Protects, which can be really awesome. But also stuff like things that threaten Kommo-o, like a Moonblast or a Psychic or something like that. Next, going to Hitmontop. I love having Intimidate on this team. I like having Fake Out on this team. Fake Out plus Intimidate, in my opinion, is the best combination in VGC. I think probably why that we've got Incineroar so popular right now. Close Combat, obviously. Fake Out, obviously. We're going to go with Stone Edge and Wide Guard. Again, Stone Edge is for the Charizards we're going to see online, and in general, just other fire types that might be floating around. Cool calc on this. Close Combat with 132 attack. It is a 2-hit KO on an Incineroar at -1. So, good to know. Good to know in the future. Wide Guard is obviously really good because I have a couple mons here that are kind of weak to spread moves. Specifically, Volcarona and Gengar are weak to Earthquake. Volcarona is also weak to Rock Slide. And obviously, Kommo-o is weak to Dazzling Gleam. So if I can like Wide Guard block some moves on that, that'd be pretty great. I'm running Eject button. I like having recovery, so like Citrus is nice, and I think I ran Figgy in the last Hitmontop I did, but on this team, because like it's nice to like switch Kommo-o in at like a weird time, especially if I'm like, if I've set up Linoone and then they think they're like, oh, I have to protect or do something just to like not get extreme speeded. It's cool because then I can like flip out into Kommo-o or Bulu if I need to jump, like reset a terrain. So I like Eject button on Hitmontop, especially like getting multiple Intimidate cycled in and out is really useful. So that's basically what I was thinking there. Next brings us to Volcarona, who I'm actually really excited to use. Of all the redirection Pokemon, this is probably my favorite. I know like Clefairy is amazing because it has such a great ability, but Volcarona is cool because it has like Overheat, and Overheat is that like that one-time really powerful attack that can like KO a lot of stuff weak to fire moves. So this is like a really bulky set. If I've done my math right, this set here, I can take a Rock Slide from a max attack Jolly Landorus, which I think was kind of the most important thing I kind of had to like account for. It's enough to get me into berry range. I don't think I can live a second one, but like after the berry, but it's still pretty good knowing you can take that hit. Obviously, I'm gonna get killed by a Tyranitar though, so that's not something we can really deal with as well. That's a Wide Guard situation. I ran Overheat, Tailwind, Rage Powder, and Protect. Tailwind in general on this team is just nice. Like, a lot of these Pokemon are already pretty fast, especially Gengar, Kommo-o, and Linoone. But I feel like there's situations where like you want to be able to match Tailwinds if they come up. And I mean, Linoone's fast. Like, what is his base speed? His base speed is 100. So, I mean, it's still it's good. It's nice having it. I mean, base speed 100 is really fast, but for Linoone in particular, it might be actually like really helpful down the line. Another reason that I'm running so much speed on Linoone, and like, because normally like if you're gonna run the Linoone Extreme Speed set, because you're only hitting Extreme Speed the whole time, you wouldn't really invest too much in speed, and you try to like round out his bulk a little bit more. But see, a max speed Adamant Linoone hits 299, and a max speed Naive Kommo-o hits 295. So that means that like I'll always outspeed my own Kommo-o, and I can get the simple beam off right onto him. But yeah, back to Volcarona. I think the other thing I calced for this was I can live a Shattered Psyche from Tapu Bulu in terrain, which is insane. It's just nasty. Volcarona is really good, especially if you like go full in on the bulk. I mean, only 4 in special attack isn't really much for those overheats, but like overheat's one of those moves where you're only really going to be using it once. It's like that one-time big nuke kind of move. And then let's go to Bulu. So this is the original Bulu I was testing out. Hornleech, Rock Slide, Psych Up, and Protect. I just thought it was cool Psych Up copying Kommo-o's boosts onto Bulu, but I mean, and this is the same spread I used on my last Bulu, the one that I had for my Sand team. But I think what I ended up deciding after like a lot of testing and all that nonsense is I actually much prefer the Choice Scarf set, which I like. I've never really like run before, but it's like super good. Especially because Bulu is scary by himself, but like when you give Bulu a bunch of speed, he's pretty nasty. So let's throw a Jolly Nature on him. Bulu's actually like the last thing that I have to adjust on my team currently, because I just caught a Jolly Bulu. I've always used the Adamant one, so I gotta switch this up. But yeah, this will be a nice, fast, cool, scary Bulu. Hopefully we can get some Rock Slide flinches. I mean, that's kind of always the dream when you run Rock Slide on anybody. Choice Scarf Bulu gets pretty damn fast. Yeah, I think we're going to see like some real fun stuff with a fast Bulu. Especially because like even without his terrain, so like say you like lead off against like a Finny and you lose your grassy terrain, like max attack Wood Hammer is still gonna hurt. Like it's still like he's so powerful. That attack stat is insane. Like Bulu's a beast, especially if there's no other like contesting terrain, or if you bring in Bulu in the back. Because I typically don't lead with Bulu. I usually keep him in the back and then switch Hitmontop into him, or bring him in to reset terrain against a Lele. So I'm really liking Scarf Bulu. I've never tried a fast Bulu, so this will be new for everybody. So yeah, that's pretty much the team. I just love Linoone, and I wanted to put him on a fun team, and I feel like this team comp is pretty strong, so he might do pretty well here, and we have like some like little cool like little weird techs and tricks. So stay tuned. Hopefully Friday will be the first episode using this team. I'm not going to take it super seriously. I mostly just want to have a good time, and I want to use Kommo-o more. I know everyone's using Kommo-o, and he's like, Kommo-o Mega Gengar is like, you've probably played against it quite a bit, but it's because it's a really good combination. It's really strong. So I think we're going to have a good time, guys. Thank you for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and click like. If you are new and you're excited to see this team in action, go ahead and click subscribe, because there'll be new episodes coming out. I think we'll probably do between 5 to 7 episodes with this team. I might be like making tweaks and adjustments as we go, which I usually kind of do. Linoone, I might, if the simple beam isn't working, like if it's not something I can easily set up and it's just like not being used that often, I'll probably switch simple beam to Stomping Tantrum, because I think that just gives this team a little bit better coverage. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll check you guys next time. My name is Rye. Peace.